Alright, welcome back Vault Hunters, and today we've got another doozy. This is an absolutely brilliant one for Amon. The intention with this one was to have a Forgedrone focus, but it kind of turned into a action skill throwing hammer kind of build along the way, just through kind of trial and experimentation with it. But so this one is really goddamn strong. Action skill focus, so you don't actually need to use your gun a lot of the time, because you're going to have a lot of the Forgedrones following you about. There's going to be 4. They're going to be permanently active, and a lot of your damage is going to be coming from the Crucible skill tree. There's going to be a lot of critical hit chance as well, and it's just really goddamn fun. So, all-encompassing build guide here. We're going to talk skills, we're going to talk gear, firmware, everything that you'll need. And with this one, you don't need a lot, so drop a like if you enjoyed this one, subscribe if you're new here, and let's just get into it. Try to make this as concise as possible. So we'll start with the specializations here. So you need 40. If you have more than that, then you can get an additional perk here, but really what we're looking for is the action skill ones to really boost our action skill damage. So we're taking the first point here, runner, so you'll put 10 points in here. First perk here, melee damage, now benefits from increases to gun damage. Couldn't really think of anything else to take, so you could probably swap this one out. Two main ones that you're going to want here is I am a gun. Action skill damage now benefits from increase to gun damage, so a lot of our damage is going to be action skill, so this one makes sense. And to follow up to that, a honed mind. Action skills gain a chance to critically hit, so it's 5% from this skill alone, but we're going to have a lot more than that because our action skill does melee damage, so it will take critical chance from that. And it increases the critical hit damage from action skill critical hits as well, so really damn good. If you've got more than the 40, because you'll need 10 in sharpshooter, 10 in runner, and 20 in daredevil to get these ones here. If you've got another 10, you can put them into brute, and you can take this one. CQC melee damage grants increased fire rate for a duration, 30% for 8 seconds. With our Forgedrones, you're going to be always doing melee damage, so this will basically always be active, which is just really goddamn good. And for these skills, so pretty straightforward. Most of our points are in the cybernetics tree here. We've got 5 points in calamity, and that's literally just for melee critical hit chance. So the drones, the Forgedrones do melee damage. It does work with this, so it's really nice. So they will critically hit quarter of the time just from this skill alone. And the action skill, so our throwing hammers in this case, also benefit from this as well. So we've got the crit from the specialization plus 25% here. So that we're taking 5 points there into discombobulate, so excellent 5 points there. We're taking 5 points into executioner in the green tree, so because we've got a lot of crit, this is just going to increase our critical hit damage, so it's 20% by default after melee, which we're always going to be doing. It's going to be 40% for 8 seconds, so really excellent skill to take there. We're taking 5 points into get the lead out, just for flat increase to reload speed, so this one just got buffed as of the most recent patch, so 25% is pretty damn awesome bonus to the reload speed, and it's doubled after causing a detonation. Not going to be doing too much of those, but it's just nice that it will be doubled after we do one of them. We've got 4 points into tempered pyre. We're getting 2 from our class mod, so this is the first Forgedrone skill. When we use our Forge skill, we're getting the axe Forgedrone that deals incendiary melee damage, so the key being there, it does melee damage, that's why it's getting that critical hit from discombobulate. And activating it while we have it active will fully restore the duration, but we're not actually too worried about that because there'll be something else that's much better than that later on. Follow up to that skill, 1 point into twin tempers, so when we summon the fire one, we're going to summon a cryo Forgedrone as well. It reduces the duration, but they're going to have quite a duration anyway, and they're basically always going to be up with the way this build works anyway, so that's actually not that much of a detriment. On the left hand tree here, we're taking 5 into tempered ice, another Forgedrone skill. Whenever we activate our ordnance, we're spawning a hammer Forgedrone that deals cryo melee damage. And the buff to the Forgedrones, Masterwork, they're going to gain increased damage and duration. The duration 40% is pretty good, but the damage 50%, that's absolutely mandatory for this one if you want to actually do significant damage. The augment that we're taking is Hour of the Hammer, so this has just been recently buffed as well, so that's why we're taking it. It's actually really damn good now. We've got Cryo Hammer and a Shock Hammer, which explode for massive damage. The Cryo and Shock are really good at dealing with kind of specific targets because a lot of our damage is going to be normal. So the Cryo for armor and the Shock for high shielded targets, so it's just really nice to have. The capstone skill, we're taking Snowball, so instead of the fire and cryo by default, it's just going to be all cryo melee damage, and it can bounce between enemies, so it ricochets. If it can't ricochet, it'll just deal additional damage to the same target, and it's just really damn nice, this one, so it can bounce about all over the place, especially if it's causing detonations on targets. In the middle tree we're taking Blast Furnace, so this is going to be one of our main damage skills. Whenever we or our Forgedrones critically hit or cause a detonation, we're going to gain increased damage dealt, so that's just flat damage dealt across everything. So at the maximum stacks it's 31.25% per stack, it's 37.5% damage at max stack, so it's quite hard to maintain them at full stacks, but really nice damage buff for all of our damage this one. And it'll be pretty easy to stack with the guns that we're going to be rocking. We've got 1 point into Tempered Lightning, that's because we're getting 5 from our class mod, so this is the Shock Forgedrone, so it will deal shock melee damage. And the key point with this one, activating an action skill while Tempered Lightning is active, will partially restore. It doesn't say what the partial restoration is, but because we're going to be activating our action skill so often, this is what makes all of our Forgedrones infinite duration. Because we're using it, it's just constantly partially restoring the duration and they basically never expire, which is just bloody excellent. We've got 1 point into Armour of the Contempt, and that's just for sustain, so every time we deal action skill damage, which is going to be pretty damn often, we're getting 5% of that damage as an overshield, which is going to keep us alive in sticky situations. We've got 4 points into Escalation. That's Forgedrones gain increased attack speed and movement speed, so again just buffing all of our drones that are going to be flying about and annoying the enemies. The final skill in the middle tree, Forgedrones have a chance to critically hit. Whenever they critically hit, they partially restore the action skill cooldown, so that's what's going to allow us to constantly be throwing our hammers. So it's 15% chance there. We're going to have 10% chance from our firmware and 25% chance from Discombobulate. So if it's all additive, which I'm not sure if it is, it should be 50% on their critical hit, so pretty damn awesome to be honest. And the final 5 points on the right hand tree is Raging Inferno. Action skill damage has a chance to critically hit, and the critical hits will apply burn, so just an additional element damage for dealing with health targets this time. 15% plus the 5% from the specializations plus the 25% from Discombobulate, because the action skill does melee damage. The hammers will have a 45% chance to critically hit, and they're going to be doing a lot of burn damage when they do, so just really damn awesome to be honest. And that's the skill, so pretty straightforward and hell of a lot of fun. So we'll jump into the gear now, and the good thing about this is you don't need a lot. Before the gear, the equipable gear here, the first piece that you're going to want is the shiny warpaint, and this is because we're specialising in Vladof weaponry for this one. So this one obviously a no-brainer with Vladof. It's going to increase the fire rate, movement speed's really nice as well, and every time you take damage it's going to reduce the cooldown, so you're going to be able to use it quite often. And that's dropped from the Meathead Riders. The Meathead Riders can be found in the Cuspid Climb of Terminus, down in the south section of the Terminus range. Just travel up to this fast travel point and it's down here. This boss fight's actually really quite difficult on Ultimate Vault Hunter 6, so if you can't do it with whatever build you're rocking at the moment, just lower it down, because it's actually a really challenging fight. The main boss deals quite a lot of damage, and if you die you need to go through a gauntlet of enemies, but that's where you can find the shiny warpaint. For the grenade we've chosen Slippy, but really you can probably use anything here. This one's just nice because it does melee damage and we have quite a bit of melee damage buffs, so that's why we've chosen this one. But like I said, you can probably choose anything here and get away with it, because a lot of your damage is from your action skill and your Forgedrones. For Slippy, same region, Cuspid Climb of Terminus range, and it can be found in the Whistler's Maw Auger Mine, which is kind of in the middle of Cuspid Climb here. You just go in there and kill Shadowpelt, and it can be quite annoying, especially on higher difficulty, because his shield resets quite quickly, so if you can't do a lot of damage on the downtime for the shield, it's going to be quite a prolonged fight, so it can be quite annoying in that sense. For the core of the build here, we've got the Blacksmith class mod, so this is the Galvanized Blacksmith that we're rocking. Kill skill partially restores active duration, so on top of the partial restoration from activating our action skill, kills are also going to do it as well, so that's why they basically just never run out. And for each active Forgedrone, we're going to gain increased gun damage, it doesn't specify how much, and increased forge damage, again doesn't specify how much. The second roll on this one's the shield capacity, not too fussed about that, but the 45% duration is locked. For the Blacksmith class mod, you can find this on Violictor. So Violictor is one of the main campaign bosses, Umbral Foundry in the Terminus range, Windspear district, and if you just go through, the portals are all over in the Stoneblood Forest at this kind of warehouse area over here, and you jump through them to get to the fortress, and you'll kill Vile Lictor for this class mod. That's the best place to get it. For the shield, again, you could probably take different things here, but what we've chosen for this one, just for durability purposes, is the Timekeeper's new shield. This one just gives you no shield capacity, but a bunch of bonus health regeneration and damage reduction, so it's just really goddamn nice. Overall, it will work with a lot of people, especially if you don't have any shield skills in your skill tree. For this one, obviously, Timekeeper shield, you can find that from the Timekeeper, so main boss of the campaign, and you can find him in Dominion City. You'll need to go up to the upper Dominion and climb the tower to kill him for this one. And for the enhancement, so because we're specialising with Vladof, we've chosen the Vladof enhancement. This one is the 30% chance to add an extra projectile per shot. If you've got the fire rate and mag size one, that's also good as well. Probably not the underbarrel one because we're not specialising in underbarrels, so either the extra projectile or the fire rate and mag size. The rolls on this one are absolutely brilliant. We've got gun damage 25%, gun accuracy 50%, and gun mag size 50%, which is just fantastic. So whatever you can get for Vladof here, because that's going to be our main source of weaponry, but again, we're not going to be using a lot of the guns, and with this one, it's a world drop, so just wherever you can get your hands on a enhancement like this, just farm away and hopefully you'll get something that works. For the main weapon, we've chosen the Burt's Bees, so this one is just really good and that is super easy to use. This one that we've got here has the Atlas underbarrel, so it homes in. It's already got partial homing by default, that's how it works, but this one makes sure that all the projectiles will hit an enemy if you tag them with the underbarrel darts, and it's just really easy to use. Super fast fire rate, and it shreds enemies, to be honest, especially without a lot of gun damage buffs. For this one, you'll find this on Sludgemaw. Sludgemaw is a bit of a pain in the arse boss because he spends half the time underground, so he's an absolute snooze fest to farm, which is just annoying. So hopefully you get good luck with this because he does have a bunch of other dedicated drops. He can be found here, Idolator's Noose District. If you go to this fast travel point here, just travel up a wee bit and he's in the waterworks kind of area here. And like I said, hopefully you get lucky with this one because he's got other dedicated drops and you might end up getting those first, but that's where you get the Burt's Bees. And for the second weapon, we've chosen the Finity XXXL, and that's just because it's a really good Vladof sniper. So the legendary effect here is it doesn't consume ammo while overheating, so sometimes if you get really lucky you just get loads and loads of free bullets, and it really does a lot of damage, especially if you're hitting some crit points there. For the Finity XXL, you can find this one on Battle Wagon. So Battle Wagon can be found just north of the Snowy Wells fast travel station. He's up here and he's quite an easy boss fight. He's got a lot of mobs and stuff as well though, but that's where you'll need to go for that sniper. And that's all the guns you'll really need, to be honest, because a lot of your damage is going to be from the action skill and the Forgedrones, like I said. So for the firmware, we're choosing Skillcraft, so this one essential for this build, to be honest. Skill damage is going to be increased by 15%, skill crit by 10%, so again that affects our already existing crit. Just gives us way more action skill refresh on the Forgedrones, and dealing skill damage increases by 2% for 10 seconds up to 25 times, so a maximum of 50% bonus skill damage at full stacks. And with the 4 Forgedrones flying about, this is stacked up pretty quickly, especially while we're throwing our action skill hammers as well. So absolute no-brainer with this one, that's why we've chosen that as our main firmware. For the second point, we've chosen Heating Up, so this is just more bonus reload speed. So we've got our bonus reload speed from our skills, but an additional 20% for one firmware point. Absolutely brilliant there, so a lot of our reloads are going to be really damn quick. And the last point, you can probably swap this one out, but we've just chosen God Killer, so it's just going to help us deal with bosses and badasses a little bit better, so we're going to deal an additional 10% damage. And that is the firmware and pretty much the entire build guide there. So just focus on stacking up your Crucible. Skillcraft will stack itself by the Forgedrones, just slapping people, and you're going to be constantly be throwing axes, and it's really damn fun. It just does so much damage and the axes are bouncing about everywhere. Super easy to use the guns as well, you don't even need to worry about shooting half the time as well. Sometimes you'll find yourself just not shooting whatsoever, just throwing your axes constantly, which is just excellent. It's just so much fun. But hopefully you've enjoyed this one, definitely give it a go. If you have, drop a like, really appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new here. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.